doubt it. Someone should tell them. I nominate you.
Bloody hell. Oh dear. The Wi-Fi is buffering again. Must be a Dalek invasion. Let's have a conversation, shall we? What about resolution? So, to kick off this review, I just want to say, yes, I liked it. I don't see why it's had such the negative reaction it has, specifically with one member of this. Because I personally think it's probably one of the best things Christian was ever written for Doctor Who. It essentially beats stuff like Saranga Conundrum, Power of Three, Arachnids in the UK, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, and probably about equal with 42 levels of quality, maybe a bit better. But yes, I really liked it in overall. I do have a few minor nickels with it that I will go through, but first I'm going to go through some of the positives. I think the extermination effect is far superior to what we normally get. Since 2005, it just looks like they've just improved it. And, gone with the times. We can achieve much more than we have in 2005. That's what this whole Series 11 really feels like. Because since 2005 it pretty much hasn't had an update in a visual style. It's like since 2005, between 2005 and 2017, they were just making it the same way, and it wasn't moving with the times. And now we're like, oh, we're not making it like it's 2005 anymore. We're making it like it's 2018. Or 2019 now, and the extermination effect gets that visual upgrade, which is nice. The only really change of the extermination effect before was that in 2005 the whole screen went weird, and in 2006 they changed it just to be the singular person. However, I do have some problems with it. Firstly, it should have been the finale, really. The Battle of Ranskoy Kolos doesn't feel like the finale, and this does. It links back to the beginning, we got Ryan's dad and all that sort of stuff, and it really should have been the finale. I understand why they put it on New Year's Day, but yeah. I do like the Dalek design, but I like it as one-off. I don't like it as the main design because, not exactly how it looks. It does look like it's a sort of stuff which would have been great for something like Genesis of the Daleks, having that sort of design. But yeah, it's nice. I even don't mind the 3 bumps instead of the usual 4. The scene with the Dalek versus the army people, which I'm going to get onto later, was probably one of the best scenes of the whole thing. Just the Dalek versus the exterminator people. That's what we really want to see with that Dalek stuff. I don't really like action stuff that much, but just a massive sadistic smile on my face as the Daleks decide to kill everyone. But that's what Daleks are for. Why couldn't they be Unit? We got rid of Unit for that call centre gag, which was amusing. It just felt slightly out of place. And unless Chibnall does have something really planned in Series 12 with Unit, like a whole big story arc or something, because let's not forget, he brought Unit back into the Moffat era when Unit had been absent since the specials. He brought Kate Stewart back, a character which was only in expanded media until then, and put it in firmly into the Doctor Who universe. He did all this. That was Chibnall. So him getting rid of Unit just seemed a bit odd. So it makes me think he does have something planned in the future, because there was no point in getting rid of Unit if it was just to get a Unit out of the way, because we had the army there, literally in the next scene, all being killed. Which you could have done with Unit soldiers. They're used to that. Moving on to more cheap gags, we get that ridiculous buffering scene, which I think everyone could tell just did not work. 30 seconds that they could have replaced the title sequence with, to be fair. I'm very annoyed about the title sequence. Why don't you just have it? It's the title sequence. Doctor Who episodes should have the title sequence on it. People, it's where's the title sequence? But, this scene just didn't work. just a random family. It wasn't realistic because no one actually goes, "What's a conversation?" because no one's that stupid. And the only way this could have worked is if it was Yaz's family, and no, it's not. You just need to end of Brian saying, "What a monster," and then move on to the next scene. We did not need that there. The location captions were ugly. They were just horrible. I don't know who did those, or if they'd ever had a lesson in basic typography. But yeah, just sack them please, because they look like this, which is really horrible. Finally, you know, something felt missing. It didn't feel like it ended, but it's like Arachnids in the UK ending. I think it's a better ending than that, personally, but, you know, that sort of ended, and it ended. This sort of just... I felt something missing, like... Ryan's dad really should have died. Unless I got some really important planned with him in the future. You know, he should have died there, should have been sucked up with the Dalek, have sort of a sad ending, because it just felt like, oh, that was easy, Dalek, there you go, dead now. But it doesn't take away too much, it's just like, that's what I was expecting to happen, so it just felt like something was missing, but that may just be more to do with me than the actual episode. Other stuff I liked the Rel joke. How long is a Rel? About 1.2 seconds actually, but, you know, good sort of in-joke. But the main thing that goes on is that, so when is the Dalek set? Because this Dalek's from the 9th century, and it knows of the Doctor, so that means it's after when the Doctor first meets the Daleks, so that's after Genesis, and that's after the Daleks, unless that wild theory about the Daleks being set in a distant future is true, but let's just ignore that for the first time. So that places the Daleks at being before the 9th century. Is this a Dalek after the Daleks? And I think in the little image, the little drawing from the 9th century in the history book, the design of the Daleks is very similar to the 63 version. So let's assume it's one of those Daleks. Then we could place that Dalek around 8th, 9th century, which, you know, it's nice to have some sort of approximate date for when the Daleks takes place in comparison to our dating system. So yeah, it was a good episode. It's definitely one of the best Chibnall's done. It's a good finale to Series 11, and it was nice to have a New Year's Day. However, there's just some minor nitpicks, but it was good enough, and I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's not amazing, it's not a masterpiece, but it's a good, solid episode, which is probably the best Dalek story since The Parting of the Ways. But that's only because it doesn't have much to live up to, does it, really?